so sorry. I forgot to film making coffee.
People depend on this. Here, you gotta do it, and you gotta make the sound.
They're not giving me my turn. Even though it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's time. He gets his turn now. Eden. Eden. We just finished Bridge to Terabithia, and now we're starting Grapes of Wrath. And it's been challenging. It's an older book. I don't know, there's just a lot more meat in it than today's books. And so it's been hard for me to keep the attitudes of the kids at a certain place where they're receptive to this. The book there's a lot of things for us to discuss, and it's not an easy book to go through if you've read it. Muley went on, like a damn old graveyard ghost. I've been going around the places where stuff happened. Today is Shabbat cleanup. One of the things I'm kind of bad at is checking the kids' work when they're done and making sure that they did it the way that I want them to do it. It takes just a lot of time and effort to do that, but I think in the long run, it's gonna be better because it's training them to do it the way that you think it needs to be done. With every job they have, after they're done, I want them to come find me. My goal is to do that with every single job up here, which is a lot of jobs. 1, 2, 3, it's probably like 20 things I'll be checking. I don't really know of a better way to do this. I mean, because before I checked it for a little bit, kind of half-assedly. Is that a word? Probably not. But then I started to just not check it. And as I saw things, as I was going through the house, I'm like, hey, that didn't get done. And then I would do that. So this is an experiment. I want everyone to be paying attention. Doug, your jobs are living room, attic bathroom, organize green couch room, get the laundry for how many papas, fold and put away, have kids put away theirs, and then the very last thing you can do is the Christmas lights. I don't want to be without coffee.
Mama, it's okay.
So we have a situation here. See that? We are getting low, and Saturday is a pretty big coffee drinking day. Sunday's up there too. And Cammie's starting to get concerned, which means it's time to roast. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No coffee for the babies. Hey, 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 hey. What are you doing?
Well,
We put a little bit more than 3 cups in here, but coffee expands. It's kind of like popcorn, so we'll probably end up with like 4 to 5 cups. When you put this much manual labor into beans, you can't afford to waste any. We are ready for tomorrow.
Right there.
So good news, bike is fully assembled, works out great.
Right side in. Okay, right now. Okay.
Eden, your bike's ready.
Wait, really? Yay!
Yep.
Yeah, he said custom.
Eden's birthday was about 2 weeks ago now, and Cammie and I bought her a bike for her birthday, like her dream bike, and it was supposed to be a surprise, but didn't show up on time. So here we are 2 weeks later. They just got it in today, and she's gonna see it for the first time. I think we can see it over there, but we told Eden not to look. Don't look, Eden. Close your eyes. Don't let her see. Okay, don't look, don't look. Is that it? I think that's it. Hang on, close your eyes. Open your eyes are already open. This is it, I think. That looks like it.
It's public right
Oh, you know what? I don't know if that is it. There's supposed to be a bell on it. All right, Eden, this is it.
Whoa.
Look, it has. This one has the bell,
We got a bell for you.
and I think it's more your size. Are you excited? Let's hear the bell. This was one of my favorite books as a kid, so I'm all ready to kind of be disappointed by the movie. Getting ready for Shabbat celebration dinner tonight. I just ran around like a chicken with his head cut off for the last 15 minutes trying to get my shit together because it is Financial Friday. Financial Fridays is where we kind of set aside this last Friday of the month to talk about our finances with you guys. Not in a way where we're teaching you, but just in a way where we're transparent about the behind the scenes of our finances. When we set out to show people what family looks like, I think money is important. Not in the ways that everyone thinks it is, but it is a factor. And we feel like if we're gonna show you guys family, part of what we feel like we have to show you, to be honest, is how we function with finances. This is a picture of a family's finances that hopefully will spark conversations for you guys and help us and you eliminate secrecy and shame. Last month, we talked about monthly income and expenses. If you haven't watched that video, I recommend you do that maybe now. It's right here. First thing I want to do is I want to update you on that. I kind of messed up, if you remember, and we have $3,200 coming in a month and $2,100 leaving. A few big things that happened this month was we rented out that house that we had been working on, and that gives us an extra $750 a month, which brings this up to $39.50 every month as our consistent monthly income. We also got a check for about $39,000 from a business I own. That was a quarterly payment. Now, before you freak out about that, I want you to know a few things. One is, that's not consistent. So that might be all the money we see all year, but it is still $39,000, which is like, great. I don't count on that money, but I consider it a huge blessing when it does come. And our plan for that money is to use it, some of it to rehab the house next door and to pay our taxes for the year. Because when you're self-employed, you don't have the taxes deducted. So I think almost all that money's spoken for. Two other just kind of like expenses that we had that are unique to the last month. I'm gonna try and mention things that are like more than $100. Cami and I took like an emergency trip to Seattle, which probably cost us about $1,600. And then Eden's bike was $240. So those were expenses that were unique to this last month that we don't normally have. Today what we're going to talk about is assets and liabilities. Income and expenses on a monthly basis are one aspect of our finances, and it's a pretty important one. But I think assets and liabilities is just as important. Assets are defined by things, man, how do you define an asset? It's something that you have that creates value on an ongoing basis. A liability is something that costs you money. I'm just gonna go through our assets and liabilities. I don't even know where to start. On our block, we own 6 houses. As a conservative amount, I'm guessing that if I wanted to sell those houses in the next month, I could get $740,000. $740K. In our bank account, and I'm gonna say /cash, $40K. Houses. I also have some other money in some other properties in a business partnership, and some of that is out in a loan. That is business/houses. That's about $300K. Man, that seems like a lot of money. Oh, the cash was actually $46K. Sorry. 6,000 saved to 6,000 earned. Okay, this is a funny one. One of the things that we have is about $40,000 in metal. That's like the Buffalo Head US Mint 1 ounce of silver, like real silver. These are worth about $30 each. And I'm showing this because most people haven't seen some of the stuff. These right here, whoa, are 1 ounce of gold each. So one of these guys is worth about $1,000 right now. We do own guns and we own precious metals. This is like Y2K type stuff. And the reason is I was watching a documentary about the trucking industry, and I found out this interesting fact, and that is that if America's truck systems stopped running tomorrow, in other words, if we ran out of oil or the freeways went out or something crazy like that, America's grocery stores would be out of food in 2 days. And I just think that's kind of interesting that we depend on these things. We depend on cash. These are all $2 bills. This is my $2 bill collection, by the way. I collected them as kind of like a thing, and now I'm kind of over it and I'm trying to get rid of them, so I'm just spending them on everything right now. Our life is dependent upon stores accepting these things. But in 2 days, this could all be completely worthless, because if people don't have food, I've seen how people are around here just trying to get recreational drugs. So if things go down for whatever reason, let's say it's an economic collapse or a war or an attack or oil being out or the internet being down, whatever, I think that metal is gonna be one of the few things that can be traded internationally and even domestically that still retains its value. That should be a whole nother video probably. I'm gonna say 35K metal. The problem is the metal's changing in price all the time. I'm gonna put 3 others over here. I have a 60K loan that's from a business sale that I'm owed. I have part of another business that I think might be worth like somewhere between 1 and 200K. I'm just gonna put 200. And this one's really embarrassing. These ones I think are like probably a sure thing. So I'm gonna add those in, although nothing's a sure thing. Plus 46, plus 300. This is 1.3 million. A few things I didn't include is our cars. I might be able to sell that van for 20,000 bucks. We bought it for 30. There's a $200,000+ business deal that I'm technically a part of. That was probably the worst financial decision, one of the worst financial decisions I've ever made in my life. It cost me about 280K investing in ferries in Africa. And I was promised that I'd be a millionaire by now, and I'm not. In fact, I haven't seen 1 cent, and I don't plan on seeing that money ever again. But let's go with this number right here. 1.3 million in assets. I guess this is where it gets weird. I mean, some of you guys might be saying, holy crap, that is more money than I ever dreamed of. And I guess all I would say is, me too. We thought that we would be poor and broke living in Africa by now, but we're not. You know, we have been blessed with a string of successes and businesses. And there's another way to look at this too. And some people would say, well, that's not much money at all, because I want to show you a few things that are missing. Is we don't have any retirement, and we don't even have any homeowners insurance for any of these houses, which means that if a house burns down, normally what people do is they call their insurance company and it's like, sweet, 140K, no problem, we rebuild it. If our house burns down, we have to have 140K out of our pocket to rebuild the house. And I have all these other reasons for that. But from one perspective, when you have this much at stake, that much money is not like a ton. It's still plenty to be thankful for. But what I'm really excited about is over here, for liabilities, we have none. We don't owe anyone anything. And I'm kind of anticipating what some people are thinking or even saying right now. It's like, well, of course, asshole, you have $1.3 million. Of course you don't owe anybody anything. And I would say, just shut up for a second, because you might not know what you're talking about. Because a lot of people that have a lot of money owe a lot of money. In fact, more than they have sometimes. I mean, that's like our country, right? Like, we have a ton of money, but we owe trillions. And when I was making the most money I ever had, and I think at one point my net worth on paper might have been in the tens of millions because we were part of an internet startup, I owed and had more liabilities than I had ever had in my entire life. And a liability over here is not just expressed in your pocketbook, it's expressed in your heart. So this number is really important, and I don't necessarily think that everyone needs to have zero. That's not what I'm bragging about. But we have worked extremely hard on this side of the equation for our income to be more than our expenses, and on this side for our assets to be more than our liabilities. To me, that is like the key of finances, those two things. And if you have more liabilities than assets right now, we need to work on decreasing this number and increasing this number. And it can be tricky to even know the difference between an asset and a liability. If you guys are interested in a book that influenced me early on, there's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'll put the link below, and it kind of explains some of these concepts. But I don't want to make this all about like learning. I just kind of want to share where we're at. Now these houses, that's the majority of our asset. I never bought those as an investment. We didn't buy those to make money. We bought them for the location for our children to give away as gifts. So even though I know it looks like a big number here, when I think about the money that we have to spend, you know, this, the metal is for an emergency. This money is not even spendable in terms of like luxury at least. This is going to be used for taxes and construction. This I could have for investments or living. But going back to this other side, we don't have a job right now. And I'm not saying this for you to feel sorry about us. I'm just telling you what I think about when I see these numbers. And like I said, we don't have retirement, and I don't plan on creating a retirement fund. So we're just trying to live in a way that's really kind of healthy and well, and not beyond our means. Did I cover all my notes? This is a freaking wreck.
Can I have one of those silver coins, $30.
We'll see. Memory wants to buy one of those coins from me for 30 bucks. This is really weird to talk about, you guys. I know people are gonna say, oh, you're bragging. Oh, you're rich. Oh, you have no right to have a Patreon account if you have $1.3 million. And I'm really conflicted about it in one way, to have this much money, at least on paper. I know this, there's been numerous days where my net worth has been cut in half. Easy, in fact, more than that. Sometimes voluntarily, sometimes not. And I learned not to get too attached to this. But I do want to keep this number bigger than this number as much as it's in my control. But I don't get peace of mind from that. Sorry. Hey, timer's off. And whatever income or assets or liabilities you guys have, you know, my encouragement is to not get peace of mind from those numbers, because what happens is when those numbers change, our peace of mind changes. Oh, geez, I hope this comes across right, and I hope it's helpful, and I hope you guys get something from it. I hope it's not just weird. I know it's gonna be weird. I gotta put all this away because we have people coming over for dinner in 20 minutes. The salmon is marinating, and we have our cedar planks soaking. We're supposed to cook it on. The problem is, it's supposed to be ready in about 3 minutes.
Are we doing vegan?
Yes.
Okay, I need to get that ready.
Ooh, come on over here, and let's wrap up
All right.
the vloggy vlog for the week. There, it's overwhelming. There's too much to say. We got some bad news today about friendship. It feels overwhelming and like we don't have any right to rest, like we should be scrambling around working. But rest is a delight and a discipline for us, which means we do it whether we feel like it or not. So we're gonna do it. Spend time with the family. Not really any internet, no Westworld. No earning money, thinking about money for the next 24 hours.
I'm just gonna be thinking about donuts.
We're doing donuts tomorrow. All right, see you guys next week. Shabbat shalom. So I know posting all of your finances on a YouTube video for the entire internet to see is kind of a weird social experiment we're doing on ourselves. But here's my question for you guys that I want you to leave in the comments. Would you share all of your finances with a trusted family member or friend, like in their entirety? Why or why not?